area called Norwood, northern area. Yeah.
So you born and raised in Miami?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was conceived in Miami. My mom and my daddy, they came from Georgia. You know what I'm saying? And got together in Miami, and ended up I was conceived in there. Actually was born in the Tarpon Springs Hospital. After I was born, my daddy came and got me, took me back to Miami. Cause my mama, her mother was up in Tarpon, so she came to be with her mama to have me. So I was born there. Then right after I was born, she came back. You know, my daddy came and got us, and I was down in Miami. Cool. Yeah, you know, my first little experience in Miami was in the projects of 46 and 24. They call the High Top Project. That's Brown Sub, Florida. And man, it was really a beautiful place. You know, when I reflect back on it, even though it was poverty stricken, but the community vibe was on 1,000. You know what I'm saying? All the big boys and big girls, they were like my big brothers and sisters, though they were my uncles and aunts. You know what I'm saying? Even if they would like curse me out, I ain't gonna curse me out, but I mean, but tell me, I get your little ass from out the streets, son. I ain't never look at it no abuse because I know they were looking out for me. You know, it's always love. They never abused me or anything. So when I got older and we ended up moving from there to Liberty City, it was still a community vibe, but it wasn't the same as in Brown Sub or 46th Street. And then once
What was different?
what was different? I guess probably what was different, say like say like in Brownsville in the projects, I could eat at everybody's house, and it was normal for me to eat at my little friend house or my partner house like that. In Liberty City, we was on the street. We stayed in houses. We didn't stay in projects. We still was the kids would still play and kick it and all of that, but we didn't eat at each other's house like that as much. We all ate at our own house. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it was just a different vibe. That's a great question because I really can't explain it, but I know it was a difference because that same love that they placed in me back then and nurtured is the love that's causing me to want to break bread with my young brothers today. You know what I'm saying? So it just show you how certain things can transcend generations. Because this was back in the 70s where, you know, they instilled this in me. Now, this 2020, and I want to instill it in my young brothers, you know what I'm saying? And I know that they definitely need it because, you know, you got to understand that the era I came up in Dade County, we pretty much were family throughout, from Overtown, down south, all the way out to the Bajas, you know, because most of us had roots in Overtown. You feel what I'm saying? Because Overtown was the motherland for Black Americans that was in Miami. If they came from,
that, a lot of people don't know that.
yeah, most people who migrated from South Carolina, like I said, my parents migrated from Georgia, stuff like that. When they came to Miami, they went to Overtown. You know, they had to stay in Colortown or whatever. Then eventually you branched out to, you know, Liberty City, Opelika, all of that there. But for the most part, all the dudes in my generation, they had family members who were Overtown. That's why Miami ain't really like beef like a lot of other places where nah man, if you from here, you can't go there. If you from here, it wasn't that because we all were connected to Overtown. All of us had family members, you know what I'm saying, over there. So what I see later on, what I saw later on in life, and it tripped me out. I saw an episode on Next 48 where some young brothers in the Pokemon project, they were beefing with each other, and they both stayed in the same projects. You know, that let me know how much the world had done changed and shifted. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh boy, one time that was unheard of. You know what I'm saying? But these boys in the same project, beefing with one another. You know, so when I saw that, that really like compelled me to, you know, to do whatever I can to try to heal and resurrect. You know what I'm saying? The brothers out there today. You know.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
you said when you were coming up, It wasn't with a lot of street beef in the streets of Miami.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't no. No. You had little small beefs. It wasn't no real street beefs coming up in Miami. I mean, you could go all over, and you know what I'm saying, and don't have any problems. You know, you
Right.
might have the little personal petty stuff, but as far as no, you won't have a situation where, oh boy, he from over town. That nigga can't come over. Then none of them can come over here, or he's from Opelika. No, it wasn't like that when I came up. That's why you can sit back. You can sit back and just look at the stories of all the big boys in Miami back in the days. Where you want to look at Bo, you look at Big Eye, Bird. You know what I'm saying? Deputy Dog. I mean, whatever. You ain't gonna see a whole bunch of bodies as a part of their legacy. You
Right.
feel what I'm saying? Not to say they ain't had to take care of business. I don't know about that. But as far as their legacy, you ain't gonna see that. All their legacy gonna be about getting money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
Making money. It ain't one no, and there's minimal violence. You know, minimal violence. So that was just a different time. You know what I'm saying? Now the generation right up under me, that's when it became a little more violent. It became a little more territorial, and a lot of greed kicked in, and they want to take spots and all of that there. But back in my era, it wasn't that. You know what I'm saying? Because shoot, you could go to 15th Avenue from one end to the other. You got 20 different dudes, you know what I'm saying, with spots there.
Right.
Ain't no beefing. You know what I mean? And all of them getting money. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
All of them getting money, man. And it was a trip when you sit back and think about it today. But that's the era we came up in. Yeah, the whole strip. Everybody getting money there, man. And you couldn't try. One of them said, like, okay, you might have had a spot on there. Dudes can come try you, and the rest of them boys on that ab didn't get involved. You know what I'm saying? No, man, you try one of them, you're gonna try everybody on that ab. So that was just a totally different mindset, you know what I'm saying?
What led you to the streets out
Actually, to be honest, I wasn't never really a street dude for real, for real. Being raised up in Brown Sub, Liberty City, you're gonna know people. You know what I'm saying? But me out there in the streets moving around like that, I really ain't never do it. That I wasn't out there like that. What ended up really like getting me into the game, it just at that particular time, it was hard to avoid it. You know what I'm saying? Because I got cousins and stuff all out of town. You know what I'm saying? They want to get some work. And if you were from Miami at that time, it wasn't nothing to get whatever you wanted. I don't care if you're 17, 18, you're going to know somebody who could get you a kilo, half a key, because they giving them away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that's how I end up um, really getting involved in it. I'm a teenager, and one of my cousins was out of town, and he was a little older, trying to, do a little something, whatnot. And me, I'm thinking of how I could get some money. Okay, boy, I can make me 500, make a grand off of this here. Boom, yeah. So I make the little deal. Shoot, I put my little tax on it, and he's still gonna throw me extra because the price so good,
there? Right. Right.
and that what seduced me.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? So, because all the while, you got to understand, by the time I'm 13, 14 years old, I'm exposed to Yahweh Ben Yahweh. So I know I'm a Hebrew Israelite. I know I'm from the tribe of Judah. But at the same time, I'm like, well, dog, boy, I can make this little money and turn into some legal money. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I end up getting into the game. And once I got into it, going to different cities and stuff like that. Oh man, I became a little infatuated with it.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
It wasn't so much the money itself, it was just, the lifestyle that comes along with, being a hustler back in them days.
Right. Right. So you
Yeah,
mentioned Yahweh Ben Yahweh, right?
yeah.
So how did you first come in contact with
Hey man, it's a trip, right? I had my best partner. He grew up. We both grew up in Brown Sub. He was my best friend, my first friend, and he the first one mentioning it to me because I had done moved out to New Orleans area. So he still was in Brown Sub. So when I came back to see him, he was talking to me, and he ended up telling me. He said, "Well, man, we God chosen people." I said, man, come on, man. I said, yeah, man, we are, man. We are the tribe of Judah. It was a lot of things he was sharing with me, right? And So I'm arguing back against him. But when I sit back and think about it, I was like, man, I remember when we were young, I used to have to do his work. He couldn't read or write. You know what I'm saying? But now he able to articulate himself, man, in such a profound manner. It really like caught my attention. But actually, what really like made me embrace it, one day his mom ended up passing, so he came to stay with us. So I go to a school named Norland. At this time here, Norland, it's like out in the suburbs. A lot of smart, beautiful sisters went there. So we had a football game, and he there. Like I told you, he man, he was illiterate. Anyway, we had the football game, and I look around, he got all the little sisters around him asking him a question. But they asking him about the Bible and different things. So I'm saying, oh, he got these little females captivated. After that, that's when I began to look and take it seriously. And once I end up picking up a book, the first book I had saw was You Are Not a Nigger. And it answered all the questions that I had because I'm like, man, how can we could be a God and we suffer the way we suffer? You know what I'm saying? And for so long and we ain't did nothing to anybody. It just don't add up to me, man. What the reason for all of this? And that book answered that, and that what piqued my interest. And once I went into it, you know what I'm saying, I went down to the temple. Like I said, I was a teenager, went to the temple and listened to the word and the message. Yeah, I came to know this the truth right here. You know what I'm saying? That's the truth. And and at the end of the day, he definitely was, he's responsible for my resurrection. He put it on. It was the message that he gave to me that caused me to want to resurrect my young brothers today. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a lot of young brothers in the joint right now. They probably were experiencing certain feelings that I experienced when I was much younger, as far as, damn, boy, I don't know if I could correct my situation. A lot of time we make moves and we do things, and the world will make it seem like you can't correct it, that you can't overcome it. So we succumb to it and just, you know what I'm saying, embrace the world that we in as opposed to transcending it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it's important for me to put out my message to let you know, nah, brother, y'all don't conform to that, don't embrace that. Nah, you can make whatever reality you want to make. Because when I was incarcerated, here it is. I don't have no 401k. You know what I'm saying? I'm 50 something years old, getting out. Hey, don't have no job. I ain't got nothing. But I know one thing for sure, that I got a mind and I got the same access to the energy that or the force that created everything you see in the universe. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I got access to that. So I don't need to be concerned or overly concerned with that depth. Because if you really allow the world to place that type of pressure on you, man, it'll cause you to either suppress your true nature. You know what I'm saying? You just suppress, or you just pretty much like just give up totally. Like you can't change, you can't make a change. So nah, and I don't want the young brothers to feel that way because I lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I lived it.
You
Yeah.
spoke about going to prison. What led you to prison?